Chapter 4 The Magical Dust of the Messenger Gabriel. The Samaritan boy lived alone on the island, doing what he wanted, whenever he wanted. No one ruled him, and no one held him accountable for what he did. And the days and years passed, and Al-Samiri reached 20 years of age, but he had never prayed or given praises to Allah his Lord. And the beast visited him every day and roamed around him to remind him of Allah's commandments to him and take him to the stone tablets, hoping that he would repent and worship his Lord. But he used to take his eyes away from the rocks and leave the beast alone. And one day he turned his face away from the rocks and said, "Who knows that these words are true? I am alone on this island, and I did not see the angel Gabriel, nor did I see Allah. And perhaps the creatures of the sea made these engraved rocks, or perhaps they were written by you, beast, so that you would not be mine as I own this island and what is in it." So the beast made a great scream that echoed throughout the island and quickly disappeared from the sight of Al-Samiri. Then he began to speak to the beast in a loud voice, saying, "All I know and see is myself, and I am the god of this island, and everything on it is mine alone." And the beast appeared the next day to the Samaritan boy and spoke, warning him, "Gabriel the angel sent me to you, and to be sure of my sincerity, take this vessel, in which there is a marvelous dust, with Gabriel's print." It was the ink with which the angel Gabriel wrote on the 7 rocks. "So cast it on anything, and if you see the sign, then believe in your Lord and worship him. And if you disbelieve, you will be the greatest sinner and impostor on earth." And the one-eyed Samiri threw a bit of the colored dust of Gabriel on a dead eagle, so it rose alive and flew in the air, then died again. And the Samiri saw the sign. Then he asked the beast, "What happened?" The beast replied, "This dust contains something of the spirit and strength of the angel Gabriel, who has the power of life, and he is the one who will revive the dead by Allah's will, for a prophet whom Allah will send to your people. And Allah your Lord has honored you with this sign as a test for you, so either you will be guided by it, or you will be among the stray." Despite the beast's preaching and warning to the Samaritan boy, he did not believe in his Lord, nor did he know that it was he who created him and sent his angel to take care of him. Rather, he denied his God and the words of the beast, and said in his heart, "The dust of the messenger angel's print is nothing but a trick from the beast, because it does not fear me like the rest of the creatures, so I will make it respect me and submit to me." And he took in his hand a flaming trunk and went looking for the beast until he met it. So he approached it and extended his arm and burnt its back. But it fled from him with lightning speed, and the one-eyed Samiri met the beast again and asked it to submit to him so that he would not harm it. So it spoke again by Allah's will and said to him, "I am submissive to the command of Allah, my creator only, and I will not submit to any creature, whoever it is." And the beast went away after it warned the Samiri of a coming night in which he would not sleep, and that after then he would be cursed by Allah, his Lord. And he would leave the island on a journey to many other countries, and that he would have his last chance and attend the emergence of 3 of Allah's resolute messengers. And the man of Samaria sat in front of the 7 rocks, thinking to himself, and said, "The dust of the messenger's print is in fact evidence of the known existence of God. So everything around me was created from the materials spread in nature, and what happened in front of me with the eagle is not a sign that proves the existence of God." but rather a sign that proves that this substance that contains the angel's print is the source of all creatures. Then Al-Samiri collected what was left of the heavenly dust of the messenger, put it in a container, and went to his cave to sleep and rest. And the eyes of Al-Samiri remained open all night, and he was waiting for sleep to come to him. And he thought about the words of the beast and his exit from the island until the sun rose. Al-Samiri drew a plan to get out of the island to Allah's lands and get to know the peoples of the earth, which is to light fires when night falls, so that some of the sea passengers might see him from humans whom the beast told him about, so that they carry him out of the island to other countries. And Al-Samiri kept thinking about how to set fires and collect firewood until his eyes fell into a deep sleep because of insomnia and fatigue, until he woke up the next night. So he set out angrily, collecting wood and logs to light the fire, and continued in this case for 2 nights. And on the 3rd night, he saw a body on the sea approaching him to the beach, and then Al-Samiri knew that they were 5 men riding a boat. The men docked with their boat on the island and came down on the shore, so the son of Samaria was surprised to see them, as it was the first time he had met a human being like him since he left Samaria as a child. And the men spoke to him in Arabic because they were from the people of Yemen. And Al-Samiri rowed with the men in the boat, and they set off far from the island, and he told them what had happened with him since his childhood. So they thought that he was mentally ill or possessed by a demon, and they decided to leave him in the nearest land in Yemen. Because since he rowed with them, the sea agitated as if it wanted to swallow them for helping the accursed Samiri. And one of the men thought that the one-eyed young man had escaped from drowning and lived alone on the island. And because of loneliness, he lost his mind, so the man gave Al-Samiri some coins and advised him to visit one of the wise men in the city of Ma'rib to treat him. And the Samaritan man went wandering in the land of Yemen, discovering its people and learning about their lifestyle with quick understanding and sharp intelligence, and he won the admiration of everyone he met. Al-Samiri worked as a hired hand for one of the men of Yemen, and the man noticed his intelligence and strength, so he asked him, "Who are you, young man?" He replied, "I am Al-Samiri from a town called Samaria in the land of Palestine." Then the man said to him, "Someday in the future you will be a good king, or a misguided and unjust king." And Al-Samiri longed for the place of his birth, Samaria, and longed for the island on which he grew up as well, so he bought a large boat to set off on his journey to Palestine. Al-Samiri went with a group of boys to the island, and when the island appeared from afar, he ordered them to stop, got off in a small boat, and paddled to the shore of the island, until he arrived and found the beast looking at him with eyes full of words and reproaches. Then it disappeared in a flash among the trees, and the young man of Samaria returned to the boat he had come on, and took with him from the island a container of Gabriel's dust and a colored piece of rock from the 7 rocks. Al-Samiri set off towards Palestine, and he left his boat in ancient Haifa, then continued his journey on foot until he reached Samaria. When he was about 100 years old, without showing fatigue or weakness, as if he were still a young strong man, Al-Samiri started trying to gather clues about what he heard from the beast. But he learned nothing except that there was a land collapse that occurred more than 100 years ago. But this story of the child who was kidnapped by the king from his father was strange to the Palestinians. A resident of the town told Al-Samiri that he was a resident of Galilee, and that he had heard from some elderly people in the town of Irbid in Palestine that a child of this land was taken by the gods into their arms, and the gods were statues of a cow. But the king of this land took him from his father because he was a child blessed by the gods. And the king of the land claimed divinity for himself only and considered himself only a god. And the child died in the king's palace when the land collapse occurred. Then Al-Samiri asked them, "What do you worship here in Samaria?" They said, "Cows. It is the God of gods and Lord of lords. Don't you see how it is filling our homes with good milk and cheese? Even mice, that are the enemy of our crops, do not approach a house in which there is a cow." There, the sick-eyed Samiri realized that the beast's words were true and were not fabricated by itself. But he is arrogant and only wants to glorify and worship himself because he is smarter and stronger than all the people he met. Even though he did not live like them and he did not have parents to teach and educate him. And he began to believe that he is a god or the son of a god, and that his soul is not human. For he is the only one who the strange beast spoke to and was raised by the great angel Gabriel.